Hello everyone and welcome to this Blueprints Masterclass. So in this huge course, I'm going to be focusing to teach you guys everything about the blueprints. We're going to cover almost everything about it. And if you're an artist like me and not a programmer, blueprints is the way to go for creating indie projects or prototypes for your games. So the aim of this course is to teach you as much as I can in the shortest period of time. I'm not gonna talk nonsense. I'm just gonna teach you straight to the point blueprints and try to compress all the knowledge in very short lessons because my idea is to give you the full knowledge in the most short period of time because time right now is the most important thing in life. So let's start. What is the difference between C++ and blueprints? So for example, if you are not a programmer like me, C++ is the way that programmers will be using Unreal Engine most of the time. It is a language, programming language that you can use in order to create your game in Unreal Engine. However, Unreal is very popular because of the blueprint system, and that is what we are going to use. So the first, I'm going to select the Games tab. This is the Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to click on the blank, click the blueprints, and I've set up my project location. I've put a project name, maybe blueprint master class, and I'm gonna hit create. Now this is how a blank project looks like, and right now we are working with blueprints and not C++. Don't get me wrong guys, if you select blueprints and for example if you're an artist like me and you start working with blueprints, you can always have another person which is a programmer programming in C++. So the blueprints are just a visual representation that you can use to achieve your results. So they can both work in hybrid mode. So you can write in C++ and the artist can use the blueprints and you can combine them to work together. So the first thing that I want to show you is how to create a blueprint. So here in the content, you see that we don't have anything in this project. So you're gonna right click here and you have in the create basic assets blueprint class. So I'm just gonna click on it and you have different classes here. I'm gonna explain them later on in the course. So now we're gonna click on the actor and we're gonna call it BP underscore first blueprint. So BP stands for blueprint. For example, if our project is very big, I'm gonna go here in the search content and I'm gonna click BP and I'm gonna find all the blueprints that I've created in my project. So this is a fast way to find your blueprints in the project, and also the naming convention is telling the other guys that are working on this project that this is a blueprint. So now I'm gonna just double click on it. And this is my interface for my blueprint. If you are using C++, you're gonna code in Visual Studio. You're gonna see all these letters, functions, etc. But for artists like us or like you guys, we use this blueprint system. And I'm just gonna quickly cover what all the menus here are, just so that you get familiar with them. So starting from here from the left, we have the components. Those are the components that the blueprint class is holding. For example, you can have camera here, character, sword, etc. Here you have the graphs. Right now we have only an event graph, but you can add different graphs over here. Next is the functions. We have variables, we have macros, and event dispatchers. I'll be covering everything from here in the following lessons, and keep in mind that this menu is showing what our blueprint has. Moving further is the details panel, which is showing a lot of functions for our component. If I select here the default scene root, you can see that it changes to different details. Or if I click here on the event graph, we have new details loading up. So here will be the details of the objects of the components that we've selected, or the graphs, functions, variables, etc. So this is the basic, and here is a viewport that you can, rotate, scale, and move. And the next two important things is this is our viewport. We have a construction script. Here we're gonna construct scripts, and we have our event graph here. So we're gonna be working with those three over here. And when you create some blueprints, create some code, you go here and click compile, or the shortcut is Control Alt. And when you have this green tick, it says, all right, everything is okay, the blueprint is fine. But if you have different than a green check, it has some errors or warnings. And this is pretty important to check. Another thing is you have save, you have browse, you have diff, which is server control. You have find, you have hide unrelated, and a lot of other stuff. You can also simulate your components. If I click here, it's going to simulate all the components. So all the blueprints logic that we've done, we can simulate here in the viewport. And from here, you can play the level, which this play button is like this one. So this is pretty much the basics of the blueprints. The things that you need to know is the difference between blueprints and C++. C++ is coding, blueprints is visual representation of C++. But there is a downside of the blueprints. They are slower compared to the C++. So performance-wise, it is better to write pure code than using the blueprints. But for small projects and indie dev projects, blueprints is the way to go. If you face any performance issues, you can switch to C++ and make a hybrid mode to boost your performance. The next important thing is how to create the blueprint. And finally, all the layout here in the blueprints. So this is about our first lesson. We're going to continue in the next video with the fundamentals of our blueprints in Unreal Engine 5.